What if you could have the exact same asset open in 3ds Max, Blender, Unity, Unreal, Houdini, DaVinci, and Maya? What is USD? An explanation for artists and designers in 10 minutes, version 2. So, to talk about USD, it's a 3D file format, really more of an API behind the scenes, like under the hood, but it's easy to think about it as a 3D file format for simplicity. It was made and released by Pixar, and it went open source in 2016. It's mostly used for movies like Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, Birds of Prey, etc. It's also used in industrial sectors such as automotive and infrastructure, like with NVIDIA's digital twins. And it is starting to be used in game development, but only sparingly so far. Now, the idea of using USD in a pipeline is that you would have a USD file, and like I said, you could have it open in various software packages, and also even in your engine if you implement USD. So in that case, the USD file becomes the center of the pipeline because you can move it between all these various software packages without a conversion step. That's the idea. So it becomes much easier to just jump between all these packages. So let's say that I open up the USD file in Houdini and I do a specific action that Houdini allows, then I open it up in Maya, do a specific action that Maya allows, and then open up in Unreal for the final composition. So in that case, the USD file becomes the center of the structure instead of what software package you're using. Now, to be fair, support varies between software packages. Like currently, Blender and 3ds Max don't really have great USD support, and Houdini has fantastic USD support. But a lot of companies have said that they really want USD to be like a nice and easy, good thing that you can use in their software. So it is being built to be good and usable in so many different software packages. Now, how's a USD file constructed? It's important to know about that because let's say I have a USD wheel geometry file and a USD material file. I might reference both of those together in a USD wheel asset file. I might also have a USD car geometry file, and maybe I use the same material file or a different material file depending on how I want it set up. And I reference both of those in a USD car body asset file. Now, of course, I also want a final car, so I use the car asset file and I reference in the body once, and then the wheels 4 different times. So what does this look like if I have a structure like this? It looks like this. So I have that wheel geometry, the car geometry, I add materials to it, and then I have a final file that references, these two things, that then reference these other things. It becomes this big tree of referencing, right? That also means that if I make a change somewhere down the line in that tree, that change is going to be reflected further down that tree. So for example, if I make a change to, for example, the wheel geometry or the material, that change is reflected through. So the idea here is that, this is a separate file, 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 this is a separate file. Even the material is a separate file. So it becomes in this way that you can version each file separately, you can edit each file separately, and also override each file separately. So if you're working with very large teams with like a lot of different assets, it becomes much easier for everyone to work with all these kinds of assets that you have. So what does that look like on disk? Like let's say in Windows Explorer. Let's take a look. So let's say I have a folder here, and I have a bunch of folders. Let's go with the asset one. I can then find the vehicles and wheels. Here's the vehicles, and here's a vehicle variants USD file that I have. And it's only 2 kilobytes. Why is that? Well, if we open it up, we can see it really only contains a couple of references, a little bit of data and some references. Now, I could add more data here if I wanted to, like adding overrides and edits and stuff like that. But in this case, it's just doing a bunch of references and also setting them up as variants, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. These other folders, again, there's just a couple of USD files, and they're referencing things or adding a little bit of data here and there, doing an override here and there, or binding a material and geometry together. And then this geometry file is a little bit bigger, 43 kilobytes. Open that up, I can see the actual triangles of a particular mesh in this case, right? So a USD file can contain many different things like meshes, materials, also like skeletons and a bunch of other stuff. It's really trying to be a universal scene description. So in this case, we look around this folder structure, we can find more assets like this, right? Like there's a bunch of, there's a van geo, there's a van asset, these kinds of things. Now, we can also go to the materials folder here and find the materials, which are also USD files. If we open one of these up, we can see that it's a material, we can see some of its values, and we can even literally type in here to change some of these values. Like maybe, for example, I want to reference a different texture. I can just type one in here, and if that texture exists, it now uses that texture in the material. So I can also do that. I can also go here through the textures folders, for example, and find a couple of textures. Again, all separate files, separately versionable, separately editable. So if you have a lot of stuff, it becomes a lot easier to work with all these things. Now, what does it actually look like? This is that USD file open, the vehicle variance one that I talked about. There's also a download link in the description if you want to try this out yourself and take a look at it or even edit it. So we have that tractor, for example, and we have the vehicle variant here at the top. Great. And there's the tractor, and we can see there's a tractor body, and there's the wheels, there's the geometry, there's materials. So we see in the hierarchy all these things that eventually make up that 3D view we see on the right, which in USD parlance is called the stage. We can see the shaders and the texture references and stuff like that. So it's all just, a hierarchy with various types of things, and they can carry data in them that USD then knows what to do with. You've probably seen a lot of this stuff before, but with other kinds of systems. And in this case, with USD, we can make, a really big scene or a really small scene depending on what we need, and then open those up in all kinds of editors. What's also neat is that the variants that I was talking about, let's say I want to switch over to a sedan, for example. Now what's happened is I haven't opened up a different file. It's still the vehicle variants USD, but in this case, it's simply grabbing the different things that I've set up as variants. So it's not using the other ones anymore and now grabbing different ones. And we also see that the hierarchy has changed to reflect that. And I can do that with all kinds of different things if I wanted to. I can set up, in this case, an ambulance or formula car, and all it really does is this references those other files we saw earlier in the folder structure. It's just changing between which one it's loading at this particular time and showing in the 3D view. I can even do that with parts of it as well. For example, this wheel, if I'll set up variants, so now I can change between the various wheels that I have in the directory setup as well. Now, there's some work to set these things up, but once it's all set up, it becomes very easy to switch between all these things. And we can easily sort of see the data on them and, try things out and see what works and use that real time. So the good is that, it's a layered system of edits, inherits, and overrides, which is very powerful. And it can contain meshes, lights, VFX, terrain, instances, animation, camera movement, skeletons, etc. It's really trying to be universal scene description, like it could sort of contain what you need to build a particular scene. And you can work in separate files, version control separate files without conversions. That's very powerful. However, I think it's also important to mention the bad, which is that it has a lot of hard to understand nomenclature, like what things are called. So in this case, like prim is usually one that I see be confusing, because when people think of prim classically, it's it's a cube, it's a sphere, it's a triangle, something like that. But in this case, it's each thing that you saw in that hierarchy, like each one is a prim and that has a type. So it can get difficult to get used to that. Also, the documentation is dense with technical knowledge. Like if you look up the classical USD documentation, it's very much API focused. And so it can be difficult to understand what that is. For software engineers, it's a great thing to look at, but for artists and designers, it can be hard to understand. And support varies between 3D software packages. Like I said, Houdini has fantastic USD support, but other packages not as much, but they are all growing to try and make it easier to use. Now, do you want to learn more? Join the USD community. For example, there's the ASWF Slack, the Academy Software Foundation. They have a couple of USD channels in there. There's the Alliance for OpenUSD, AOUSD, which is a forum where people talk a lot about USD. There's the NVIDIA Omniverse, which you can just download, and they have a bunch of USD tooling in there that you can use. There's also DaVinci's Workshop, which is a really large USD scene that NVIDIA released. It's not really meant for games. It's meant more for like a movie kind of thing, because it's 67 gigabytes big. There's like a lot of stuff in there. And ALAB, Animal Logic, released by Animal Logic, is also an open source scene that you can download and take a look at. Again, quite big, but a lot of stuff in there that you can see. Remedy is also making the editor use USD, which I think is really awesome that they're like publicly talking about that and trying to make that work. They've also released a book of USD, which I think is a really, really much easier way of understanding how USD works. It has like visuals and GIFs and kind of like shows you kind of how things work, which I think as a designers and artists is just much easier to understand. And also, like I said, the vehicle examples that you just saw, their assets are on GitHub. So there's a download link in the description. Just download them. They are Creative Commons 0, CC 0. So you can just download them, remix them, do what you want with them, try them out, just work with them. It's really just put out there, and it's only 1 megabyte, so it's quick to download, quick to load. Just like see kind of how this works and what USD can do. Also, come to the USD Round Table, Friday, March 22nd at 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. in room 308 at GDC 2024 in San Francisco. We're going to be talking with a whole bunch of people from the games industry about USD, like who is using it, what are the troubles people are having, what are things that people like, talking as a group and trying to figure out what do we do with USD, what do we like, what do we dislike, and what would it need for the games industry to use this more as well. And that's it. Thank you very much. Please feel free to leave comments and feedback for version 3. This is version 2 of it. I'm hoping in the future we'll make a version 3 that might be even better, but I hope so far this was very useful to you, and let me know if you have any questions.